and welcome to another teacher talk session tonight. And tonight we are having our 178th session, as you know, and we are having another educator from Turkey, and she is an English coordinator, Tuğba Gençer Varol. When she comes, we are going to start our live session with her, and there are a lot of topics that we are going to talk with her. She's here. Tuğba hocam, if you send me a request to join, I can accept it. Thank you. Yes. As you know, that it takes a little bit time, to connect. Just a moment, I'm just checking. Try one more time.
Hi, I guess
Hello.
hi.
Hello, it's great to see you too, hocam, and welcome.
Likewise. Thank you
Thank you
very
very
much.
much. And I would like to say thank you very much to hocam for accepting my invitation for Teacher Talk session tonight and being with us here. And we are so
My
excited and
pleasure.
happy to see you.
It was my pleasure. Thank you very much. It's great to be finally here. Volkan Hocam, thank you very much for, inviting me. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. And Tuğba hocam, I know that you are very busy, and if you are, I don't want to take your time. If you are ready, can we start?
Yes, of course.
Okay. And I know about you, Tuğba hocam, but maybe our audiences would like to know about you. So can you tell us about yourself, please, and a bit about your experiences too?
Okay. I've been an English teacher for 20 years now. Yes, it is hard to accept, but it has been
Wow.
20 years. I'm getting older.
But you're
So
still
it's
young, hocam.
Thank you very much. So it has been 2 decades. So I have had teaching experiences in many different contexts. I started with, teaching adult learners, and then I continued. I have like very short experience with at primary
Uh-huh.
school, and then I continued to work in middle school, and this is how it went. And I worked in different contexts, which was a nice thing because I have found out about different needs of different
Uh-huh.
kinds of learners. So this is my teaching experience, but before that, maybe I could provide some information about my education.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not originally a graduate of English language teaching. I'm a graduate of
Oh.
English language and literature. I studied English language and literature at Hacettepe University. And I did my MA in ODTÜ University in developing human resources in education. It was a different
Uh-huh.
area for me, so I liked it as well. I enjoyed it as well. I'm a CELTA and Delta certified English teacher. I completed those programs as
Uh-huh.
well. And which all brings me to what I'm doing right now. I'm currently the coordinator, the middle school English coordinator at ODTÜ Geliştirme Vakfı Schools.
Uh-huh.
And I have had the pleasure of working with you, Volkan Hocam,
Thank
and
you.
teachers,
With me
great
too, hocam.
teachers like you, who
Thank
inspire
you.
me at the same time. Who you are my inspiration as well. Thank you very much. So this is pretty much who I am.
Yes, wonderful. And we're also very happy to working with you, hocam. Really,
Thank you
thank
very
you.
much.
The things you have done for us so far. Thank you. Okay, hocam. And well, would you like to add anything else, or can I move to another question?
No, Because, thanks to your questions, I think we will have a chance to explore about everything I think about a
Okay.
lot. So for
All
now,
right. So
that's
my next question is to Bahajan. What was or were your turning point or points in your own education?
Um, you know, it's maybe it will sound like a cliche, but since I was a kid, I have always been interested in languages. So English is not something new in my life, and my parents have also noticed that interest of mine, and they really supported me, so
Uh-huh.
that I can learn this language. But I think the turning point in my education is when I decided to study literature, English literature, because,
Oh.
studying literature really opened my eyes to different cultures, and it really enabled me to become aware of the fact that language is
Uh-huh.
a very powerful tool,
I see.
regardless of the context. Language is a very powerful tool. You can use it to write books, you
Sure.
can use it to teach English to other people. So I think this was the turning point in my life when I made up my mind to study literature, English literature.
Wow, it's great. Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing that turning point with us,
First.
Tuğba Hocam. Thank you. And you just mentioned Tuğba Hocam. You have been teaching for a long time. You said 20
Yes.
years. It's
Very
really
long.
huge experience you have. And I'm sure that in this time you have tried different techniques, different strategies, different methodologies in your lessons, and
Mhm.
probably you have a philosophy of teaching.
Mhm.
So what is it? What is your philosophy of teaching?
Um, the important thing for me is, to stay curious. So I would define myself as a lifelong learner.
Uh-huh.
I have never given up learning, or I have never been tired of learning something new. So my individual philosophy of teaching is all about not giving up on the journey of learning something new. As a teacher, my philosophy to teaching is more like putting the students in the center. So I really
Mhm.
care about student-centered learning, and I really believe that it is something that empowers the students and teachers as well
Uh-huh.
at the same time.
I see. I see. Thank you. Thank you very much. And
Mm,
I always say that that's the kind of a quote, like, the when you stop learning, you stop teaching. So
exactly.
it's kind of, you just mentioned that when you never give up, you always need to learn something. You always, the puts, the up and up, on and on and on and on, something like this.
Exactly.
And also that's the center of the student center. That's also important, especially if you are teaching language or any other, the subjects. You always need to take the
Mhm.
students into the center of the lesson. I mean,
Exactly.
I mean, I
This is
really.
how you
Mm-hmm,
can keep them there, because
mm-hmm.
otherwise maybe they are physically in the classroom, but mentally they are
Not
daydreaming and
there.
they are somewhere else. So yeah, I totally
Yeah,
agree.
yeah, me too, Jam. Same, same. Okay, thank you, Jam.
Very
And
well.
we are educators, and we have in our career we have a lot of the stories. Some bad stories, some good stories, some the failed stories, some success stories.
Mhm.
My question is about the success one. Can you tell us one or maybe two success stories of yours? I'm sure you have, and especially something inspirational for
Mhm.
us.
I mean, it's a really tough question to answer because, when you look at it from your perspective, you generally don't give yourself enough credit and you don't find it inspirational enough. But one story that I can tell you is about one of my students, obviously. Once I had this student, she was, really good at English. She had a good command of, writing
Mhm.
skills. And she was really great at grammar. But one thing she lacked was confidence. She didn't
Uh-huh.
really believe in herself, and she was scared to death when she had to, speak in front of a group of people. Even those pair work or group work discussions were overwhelming for her. But what I believe in teaching is, other than sharing information, you should be helping students in terms of their well-being as well. We should be providing them with some soft skills in life, like being
Uh-huh.
able to trust in themselves. So I didn't do much, honestly. I just spent time with that student, and we had our little conversations when I would tell her stories about, how I gathered courage and how I would feel now comfortable about speaking in front of people. So in time, it's all about creating that bond, establishing that bond with the student.
Student.
As I told you, I
Mm-hmm.
really feel like I didn't do much, but somehow I made her believe in the fact that, she was good enough
Mm-hmm.
to talk in front of other people. And this is something I always tell to my students. The first thing that I tell to them is there are no silly questions in this classroom. There are no
I
silly
see.
questions. And if you don't make mistakes, you cannot learn anything. So I think it is important to provide some, confidence, for self-confidence for the kids. After that, that girl in one of my lessons, and out of the blue, I wasn't really expecting it, she volunteered to share something with
Great.
her friends, yeah, in English. And then, this became a habit of her. And I was really, impressed by her courage. And then another thing that really, really impressed me was she wanted to prepare a presentation about how she overcame her
Wow.
fear and how she wanted to share all those feelings with her peers so that she could become a role model for them. And then she would walk around all around the school, visit the other classes, and said, "Today I have a presentation for you." And
Wow.
I really admired her courage. And she said that, and this is what made me really happy. She said that when I believed in her, she really believed in herself. So, other than being her English teacher, I was kind of her friend at the same time. So, I think this was one of my success stories because I kind of had an impact on her life. And I think this is the most important thing a teacher could have.
Wow. It's really great, and thank you very much, by the way, sharing this, the stories with us, Tuğba
Thank
hocam.
you.
And I'm sure that she was really lucky to have you there. And the important thing is that I think you made her believe in you, and about the courage of her
I
that
felt
she can
I
made
felt
it.
very lucky. Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Thank you very
Thank
much. Thank you very much.
It's great, wonderful hocam. Thank you.
Thank
Tuğba hocam, we are, the language teachers, but my next question, we can think about the general
you.
teachers. To being a teacher is not an easy job. We, to do it,
Mhm,
to continue our job.
mhm.
But when you think about this, what are the most important qualities and skills a successful language teachers, or when you think about the general teacher
Mhm,
term, should
mhm,
possess? And
mhm,
I know that you are very, the experience and about it, and you have a lot of ideas as a coordinator. So
mhm.
what is your point about them?
I think I will say this sentence a lot tonight, Volkan Hocam, that it's a tough question to answer. I think I will keep saying this. But there are a lot of them. Being an English teacher or being a teacher is not an easy job. But of course, there are some qualities that stand out. And if I have to pick some, the ones that I would care about most would be patience, first of all,
Yeah,
very important.
definitely.
Empathy, yeah, empathy is very important, and flexibility, I think, is very
Mm-hmm.
important. Patience is the key because learning takes time. So we need to be patient with our students. At this point, I would like to mention about an analogy that I heard from one of my colleagues in
Uh-huh.
the past. And I share this a lot with my students. He was a British person himself, and he wasn't really well aware of the challenges of learning English, but he was aware of the challenges of learning a new language. He was learning Turkish. And he told me that, learning a language is like seeing the grass grow. Like when you look out of the window
Oh,
every day, you won't notice that the grass is growing. But one day, when you look out of the window, you see that the grass has grown. So he said
wonderful.
that this is, yeah, how learning a new language works. It takes time. And sometimes students feel demotivated, parents feel demotivated because they want to see that this is
Exactly.
happening, but it takes time. So we have to be patient with the kids at this stage. I mentioned empathy because I think, of course, this is a very important skill in life, but working with the kids, particularly with the teenagers, I work in a middle school, sometimes they feel overwhelmed by a lot of things. So the things that seem minor to us are felt like a major thing by them. So we should try to understand, we should try to look at life in their perspective. I think this
I
is very
see.
important.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, flexibility is very important. I have seen teachers who suffer because they are not flexible enough, because this is not something you can fight, you cannot
Yeah, you are right.
resist. Yeah, you cannot help it. At some point, you will have to change some stuff. Of course, there are things that are your principles and you don't want to change. Okay, but there are things we have to be flexible with. And right now, as a lot of things are going on around the world in educational life, we have AI in the
Wow.
middle of our
Yes,
lives. Yeah, so we have to be flexible. I think these three things are the most important characteristics for a teacher.
exactly. Perfect. Can we just, summarize it like you said, the patience, and
Hmm.
then you
Empathy,
said what, empathy, and the last one,
flexibility.
flexibility. These three things are really important, especially the flexibility one. Also, that's important. Even when w- eh, let me give you an example. Like even in your classes, in the lessons, during the procedure, you know, you have a make lesson plan. You think that is perfect, but when you go to classrooms, you change it or tailor it during the lesson.
Mhm.
So you need to be flexible
Exactly.
about it also, if I'm not wrong.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. You think it's the best plan ever, but then once you start to implement it, okay, I'll have to change this part. So it always
Exactly.
happens. Yeah, it's not a bad thing.
Exactly. You are right. Thank you very much, Rajam, for
You're
sharing these
welcome.
ideas with us. And you are working, as we all know that you have spent a lot of time, a lot of experiences, and you have tried different activities with your
Hmm.
classes. I'm sure that you are maybe one or two activities that you really like to use in your classes.
Hmm.
Maybe they are secret, but it's okay. Can you share them with us? One or two great activities?
Of course, I can share, and they are like everyday activities that all of us do. Uh, but I really think that they are powerful. My favorite has always been debates. I love them. Students love them.
Mm-hmm.
I love debates for many reasons. First of all, language should be connected to real life. And in debates, you are providing students with the opportunity to discuss topics about real life, and they have the chance to express themselves, which they love. As you know, Volkan Hocam, they love talking about their ideas. They love talking
Definitely.
about themselves. So it's like a win-win situation because they're enthusiasts. On their side, it's a win because they're enthusiastic to share their ideas. But for us as teachers, it is again a win situation here because we get them to practice listening, they listen to each other, they speak, they express themselves, and they take notes, so they read, they write, they
Uh-huh.
interact. So we also here we are talking about 21st century skills like collaboration, creativity. So it's a lot of things in one package. This is why I love class debates. But of course, there is this danger if you cannot frame, if you cannot structure the class debates in the best way possible, in the most
Uh-huh.
organized way possible. Sometimes it may turn into chaos. So it's
The-
very important to structured to set the activity in a very well framed way. It's very important. So class debates are my favorite. Another thing I really love is, jigsaw activities. I love them.
That's also nice. I really
Yeah.
like it also.
Yes. I can imagine that you like them too because you like interactive activities as well.
E-
So I like
exactly.
jigsaw activities because I think it's nice to have the students walk around and share ideas with each other in a meaningful context. Because sometimes talking about chaos, if we don't really structure the activity in a efficient way, then 1 second and it turns into chaos. So these are my
Exactly.
two favorite activities. They are not secret,
And
but if you work your magic, they are really efficient in the classroom.
I'm sure I'm sure they are, yeah, definitely. Especially just, the mention about the students, they really like talking about themselves and
Mhm,
they really like to connect the topic with their life.
mhm.
If we can do that, you can really, get them into the lesson and get them the point that you want them
Exactly.
to be there. Exactly. That's
Mhm.
really important. And debate works really good at that
They
point,
they
as
are
you
so
mentioned.
enthusiastic, aren't they? In a debate,
Mm-hmm.
even the most bored student wants to be a part of it. They have ideas. So, yeah.
Definitely. I totally agree with you, Hocam. Okay, and Hocam, we live in Turkey, and that's really, we are trying to teach the language the Turkish students, and I'm sure that you have faced, a lot of maybe 1,000 students in your career,
Mhm.
and when you think about all these years and working with the Turkish students, I'm sure that you have faced a lot of problems to teach them the language. So when you think about them, can you tell us about the Turkish students' problems about learning English in your view?
Mm, One thing I would say is their obsession in grammar. Uh, so the thing is, of
That's
course,
the real good one. Yeah.
yeah, of course, grammar is important. We love grammar, but if you ask me, I adopt the lexical approach. I would like to see grammar as a part of the lexis, in
Uh-huh.
general. But they really want to find out the meta language about everything. Okay, hocam, what is the Turkish tense for this one? So it is dili geçmiş or mişli geçmiş. There are things like that. So they really want to find out the meta language about everything. Of course, there is nothing wrong about trying to find out the meta language, but when it is too much, then their only priority is the grammar. So they don't see grammar as a means, but as the goal to language. I think this is one of the main problems because grammar is just a
Mm-hmm.
means of learning English. It's not like the goal of, learning English in that sense.
I see.
This might be one problem. Another problem, I think, lack of exposure to English.
Uh-huh.
Nowadays, it shouldn't be a problem because we have a lot of resources in English, but
Definitely.
they have this reluctance to be exposed to English. My friends have kids, and whenever I visit them, I always tell them, "Why are you watching this movie in Turkish? Why don't you watch it in English?"
In English.
So, exactly. So I think I'm thinking about my personal journey of learning English, and the first thing I did was listening to English. Even, I didn't know how to read English, but I would listen. So I think not enough exposure to language is another main problem. It's like a barrier for Turkish learners as
Mm-hmm.
well.
I see. I got it. Thank you very much, Hocam.
Yeah.
That's really an important point you mentioned it. Thank you for sharing the ideas with us. And Tuğba Hocam, you are working, as a, the coordinator, the
Mhm,
language and English coordinator
mhm.
of our department, and you have really important and really, hard work to do it.
Thank
When you think about your duty, your job, I'm sure that there are a lot of good sides and the bad sides.
you.
Can you tell us pros and cons of it, if it is okay for you?
Of course, no, no. Everything, I'm an open book, Volkan Hocam. I will talk
Perfect
about
then.
I will talk about the reality here. Um, When I say this, I really mean it. I mean, I also embrace the challenges of my job because looking back, I think they helped me with my personal growth as well. So I would like to say that I see the challenges as an opportunity to, for my self growth. So I embrace them as well. But first, let's talk about the pros, the advantages of working in such a
Yeah.
position. The thing is, I have been observing a lot of classes and I have been working with a lot of teachers. Maybe you may not think it that way, but I also learn a lot from other people. So they are like case studies for me. We have the chance to
Wow.
exchange ideas, and it is a very stimulating environment, I can tell you that.
Uh-huh.
So it's not monotonous at all. So it always challenges me, and I see this as an advantage because I need to research, I need to come up with new ideas because I need to act as a mentor, to other teachers as
I
well.
see.
So this
Mm-hmm.
can be an advantage and a challenge at the same time. I would like to see it as an advantage for me, as I mentioned, for my personal growth. And I like, leaving traces on life. I think I'd like to see it like I have at least made a slight change in another teacher's life. So this really, inspires me at the same time, and it provides me with the energy to go on, and the challenge, I think the only challenge I can think of is sometimes it's hard to maintain a balance, between your work life and
I
your personal
see.
life. My cats miss me a lot when they cannot see me.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah, but when I say it, I mean it. I really love my job. I can say
I
that.
see. It's great. Can I ask another question about
Of
it?
course, of
You
course.
know, when you go to the obs, you know, go when you go to another, the school to
Hmm.
observe, to
Hmm.
do that, you need to travel from one city
Hmm.
to another city.
Yes.
Sometimes you go, by plane, and sometimes you go by bus.
Yeah.
Isn't that, the hard to do it or tiring?
Um, of course, there is this physical part of it, when you feel tired, but, some people may think it is fake, but when I say it, I mean it. I want you to believe me. Um, the journey may seem tiring, but thinking about all the experiences, all those rewarding experiences I feel there,
Uh-huh.
I feel energized, So I don't feel that tired, honestly. I'm in my 40s now, but I still, um, excited. I'm excited by the journey, and this
Wonderful.
excitement really is my fuel. It helps me to go on. So I can tell you that it's worth it. It's worth the tiring journeys. So it's totally fine.
Oh, perfect. Great. Great. And if it is okay, can I ask you another
Of course,
question about it?
of course.
Have you ever thought, like this, oh, I'm going to another city or another school. What kind of things are expecting or waiting for me? Something bad or something good? Or have you felt like this?
The thing is, remember, we talked about curiosity and
Yeah,
flexibility. So these kinds of things really, I think it keeps a person alive,
I
because
see.
if everything is so good in life, or, if everything is expected, so there is, if you don't take any risks, or if you're not ever curious about anything, there is no fun in that, right?
Yeah,
So for me, it's fun. Of course, I'm curious to find out what's gonna happen, but it's the nice side of it. It's what makes me feel excited about the journey.
I see. Thank you. Thank you very much, Hojam,
You're
for
welcome.
answering all the questions. And Tuba, all hard questions. I know that these are a little bit hard to
They
answer, but you
are, Volkan Hocam, your questions are really hard, but it's nice that it keeps me thinking. So thank you
I
very
see.
much.
You're welcome, Hojam. And Hojam, we are living a very kind of a
Mhm,
technology age, and
mhm,
it's not easy to follow, especially after the AI come out, and the how can I say, we can see every part of our job outside or in our computers or television. We can see it everywhere,
mhm,
and probably in education, we use it. I'm sure you are
Mhm,
using it because we all do.
mhm,
Uh, and I'm sure that you have really, the great tools to use it.
mhm.
If it is okay, can you give us one or maybe three example of tools that you use
Of
for
course.
your, for your lessons? If they're not a secret anymore.
No, 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 no. They are not a secret. As it's the hot topic now.
Yeah.
Everybody is trying to find out things about AI. So the thing is, ChatGPT is, everybody was talking about ChatGPT, and I didn't really dive deeper into ChatGPT, but
Uh-huh.
I, started to spend a lot of time on ChatGPT, and I really find out that if you ask the right questions and if
Mm-hmm.
you give ChatGPT the right instructions, it really gives you a lot of ideas. It gives you project ideas, and it gives you even, when you are planning like a course plan or something, it gives you a lot of good ideas.
Definitely.
Of course, it always
Mm-hmm.
needs some double checking. And, as I told you, you definitely need to ask them good questions, the best questions. But I think ChatGPT is a tool that shouldn't be underestimated. And as teachers, we can really use ChatGPT. And the thing is, we can use it to save time. I mean, when you prepare a reading worksheet, you can just upload it on ChatGPT and it gives you the key for the worksheet. So, as
Definitely.
teachers,
Mm-hmm.
we find the reading text and we prepare the questions, and we can always get feedback from ChatGPT, by the way. But still, there are some tasks that are like dull tasks, and it really takes time to do it, like
Uh-huh.
preparing keys for exercises. ChatGPT does it for you. So I think it's a very teacher friendly tool, and I use it a lot. I can tell you that. Another tool that I have been exploring recently, I haven't really had a full command of it yet, but I'm really curious about one AI tool. It's called Magic School. I don't know if you ever
Of
heard of it. It's great,
course.
isn't it?
Yeah, that's
Volkan Hoca.
perfect. Really.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful tool to use
Yeah.
it.
Exactly. So I have found out that, it has a lot of benefits, like it allows personalized learning, and you can find out your students' strengths and weaknesses. The platform also includes a lot of lessons, quizzes, and games. So I have been exploring Magic School, and there's a lot
Uh-huh.
going on. So I really would like to use it in the classroom, in the lessons as well. I also use, again, I think what we teachers should do is we should teach our students not to be scared of or not to refrain from AI tools. We should teach them how to use those tools properly. So thinking about AI tools, I think some teachers are still distant, but when teachers explore it more, like these tools such as Magic School, and if we show the kids that teachers are benefiting from it, and if we tell them the right way to benefit from it, like
I
avoiding
see.
plagiarism, and
Mm-hmm.
this will be a very powerful tool in the classroom. I really believe in AI.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you very much, Hojam, for sharing them.
You're welcome.
And by the way, something about the
Mhm,
technological improvements that I'm gonna ask you about it.
mhm,
It's not easy to follow it. It's really hard to follow it, especially in education world.
mhm,
And my question is, how do you follow these technological improvements in education world? What do you do? What
mhm,
can you suggest us about it?
mhm. First of all, I think, yeah, personally, I still enjoy reading articles. Whenever, I have a keyword in my mind, I still go to those websites where you can come up with articles. So I still enjoy them whenever I find time, of course. But now there are easier ways. There are really good websites. One of my favorites is Volkan Hocam. I know you are really quoting from that site to Edutopia, for instance. I
Ah,
like it a
yeah,
lot. I
that's
think
perfect
there
site.
are
Mm-hmm.
great ideas, and the thing is, we have to admit the fact that we don't always have too much time for very long articles.
Mm-hmm.
So, Edutopia is one of my favorites because there are really nice and brief ideas and articles there as well. I also follow some influential people on LinkedIn or Instagram. LinkedIn is my favorite. There is one of my favorite ones is Nick Peachy. Yes, I
Yeah,
follow him on LinkedIn, and he has also very practical ideas. Me personally, I love,
definitely. Mm-hmm.
borrowing things from people. I really, when I follow someone, I really like to learn things in the short run and to implement it in the classroom. So he's one of those guys that I can borrow ideas from. So I really enjoy his ideas too. This is how I think this is how everybody is doing it nowadays. So this is how
Yeah,
I do it.
that's great. And we
Yeah,
should really to do it. We should really follow it. If we don't do
exactly.
it, I think we will face a lot of problems
We
in
will
the
be left
future.
behind.
Yeah,
Exactly. The
exactly.
teachers who don't, the teachers who underestimate the power of technology in teaching English, unfortunately, will be left
Yeah.
behind. This is how I feel.
Exactly, totally agree with you hocam.
Yeah.
Tuğba hocam, I'm sure that you are very busy and you are working a lot and you are doing a lot of things.
Mhm.
And right now, what are you doing for your job? Are you
Mhm.
doing anything special and do you have any projects or do you have any surprises for us?
Ah, I wish. In the short run, I hope I will. Currently, we have been talking about AI tools, but we haven't talked much about differentiation. It's a buzzword, everybody keeps talking about differentiation, but once you start to do,
Mm-hmm.
research about differentiation, it's really hard to implement, but once you manage to implement differentiated instruction in your classrooms, it's really rewarding. So my goal, as in my job definition, there is also planning the instruction and planning the curriculum and designing the curriculum.
Uh-huh.
So what I'm working on is, upgrading the curriculum with new concepts like being able to integrate technology, particularly AI, and also differentiation into classroom practices. So basically, currently, what I'm doing is, I'm working on the
Mm-hmm.
curriculum in general and how I can come up with better and more efficient ways to
I
integrate
see.
AI and differentiation practice in the classroom. So this
Wow.
is what I have been working on for a while now.
It looks like very easy, but actually when you do the
It's
job, it's not easy.
tough. It takes
It's really
time,
hard.
You know it as well. It takes a lot of tryouts. You have to, as you also mentioned, sometimes you think that this is a brilliant idea, but
Uh-huh.
once you implement it in the classroom, it just doesn't work. So for this reason, you really need to try, and if it doesn't work, you have to try again, or you have to adapt the idea. So yeah, it really is hard work, but I'm sure it will lead to great results. Mhm.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you very much,
Very
hocam.
well.
Tuğba hocam, and there are a lot of teachers, all around the Turkey or maybe all around the world, okay? And they are new teachers,
Mhm.
and they will start their
Mhm.
jobs, the new, and maybe they will face a lot of difficulties, a lot of difficult challenges. We don't know. We can't see that. They can't see their future.
Mhm.
As an experienced teacher and
Mhm.
what can you say or what advice would you give to new or aspiring English language teachers or generally teachers
Mhm.
who are just starting their teaching careers?
Mhm. Don't give up would be.
We all know it. Don't give up. Okay, the first thing they should know it. Don't give up.
Yeah, don't give up exactly because um Volkan hocam, it's like a dilemma. It seems like things are getting easier for a teacher thanks to technology and stuff, but there are other factors which also makes a teacher's job more and more difficult,
Definitely.
each day. So
Unfortunate. Yes.
unfortunately, yes. So the first thing I would say is don't give up because it's really worth it. It's one of those rare jobs in the world where you can really make a difference in a person's life, which is really important because, we could have picked other jobs. There are a lot of different jobs we could have picked, but I think teaching is where you can immediately see if you are making a change in another person's life. So I think this is very important and quite a valuable experience. So
Uh-huh.
I really would love, those teachers to stay curious and to stay resilient. As you know, resilience is a very important term
Important.
nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
And being resilient is very important. You have to be, there will be some bumps on the way, and you will come across with some problems, but I mean it when I say don't give up, because we are teachers and we should be coming up with the solutions as well. So stay curious, stay flexible, and don't give up.
Don't give up. That's really, they need
Exactly.
to memorize it and they need to repeat it. The every day before starting their job.
Yes,
Don't
when
give
you
up.
wake
This is
up
a
in the
new
morning.
day. Don't give up. Don't give up.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
Thank you very much, Hocam. Tuğba Hocam, time flies and we
I
cannot see
know.
the future and we don't know what's gonna happen in the future. And when you think about yourself, how
Mm,
do you see yourself in 10
mm,
years? Will you still be a teacher or educate or trainer,
mhm,
or will you try another job or
mhm.
jobs?
The thing is, Volkan Hocam, I have invested a lot of time in this business, so I think I'm gonna stay in education. I'm gonna stick around for a while. As I
Perfect.
told you, as I told you, I have done my MA. I would like to continue and start and then complete my doctorate in education management. I'm thinking because
Wow.
I'm really interested in management of education.
Uh-huh.
Um, of course, right now I feel lucky that I feel as if I'm making a change in at least a few person's life. So I would like to continue mentoring other people and providing them with support, to the best of my knowledge and to the best of my efforts, I can say. Um, I don't know if it could happen in 10 years, but I always had a goal in life. I really would like to write a book.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Wow.
Maybe I will get it printed for like 10 people, but it's something that I have been telling here for the first time, Volkan Hocam. Many
Yes,
people
I heard
don't know
it for the
this.
first time. I'm surprised. Something that shocked us and surprised us, Hocam. You're gonna write a book. We are looking forward to it.
But it won't be about English. As I told you, I'm interested in literature, and I really
Uh-huh.
like reading in Turkish as well,
Oh, I
whenever I find time.
see.
So this is my surprise to you. Um, I might, Volkan Hocam, one day write a book, and I may sign it and share it with you.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. I will be happy about it, and I'm looking forward to reading as soon as possible, Hocam.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for
No
sharing this
worries.
new and great idea here with
Yes.
us. Okay,
Breaking
wonderful.
news.
Yeah, breaking news. Thank you, Hocam. Thank you very much. Tuba Hocam, there are a lot of times in our life,
Mhm,
and sometimes we face really difficult situations
mhm,
and some challenging
mhm,
situations, and something that we cannot, to deal with it, or to manage to solve it. So
mhm,
when that time comes, sometimes we say it's on your own, on your
mhm,
own. You say, "Oh, I wish I could have that kind of a superpower so I could easily fix it," or
mhm,
"I wish I could have this superpower," or whatever. I could easily solve the problem.
mhm,
When you think about this into the classroom,
mhm.
if you could have one superpower to use in it, what would it be and how would it help you?
This movie, if I'm not mistaken, its name is Inside Out.
Yeah.
Emotions are represented by colors.
I know, it's so
Uh,
lovely.
so the thing is, I would like to have a superpower, thanks to which, when I enter a classroom, I really would like to see the colors, the emotions of the students. Because, generally we teach a group of students, like around 20 something of students, and we cannot always detect how they are
Yeah.
feeling that day. And I really believe the social emotional aspect of learning as well. It's not only sharing information, but it's also the well-being, the social well-being of the students. So I
Hmm.
really would like to, as a superpower, detect the students, emotions and problems on the spot immediately and, push a button and come up with a solution and make them feel better. So this way, they will feel ready to learn the language, and they will get rid of all their emotional baggage, and they will
Wonderful.
feel ready to start the lesson.
It's a great, great superpower, Hocam. Thank you very much for sharing it with us
You're
here.
welcome.
You know, that think about it, the Tuğba Hocam, we finished this interview, all
Hmm.
right? And, and you step outside your home and you find a lottery ticket that ends up winning
I
$100
wish.
million. What would you do about it? Please be honest,
Of course.
please be honest about it.
I will. I will be honest. Uh, this has been a very lovely and enjoyable talk, Volkan Hocam. Thank you very much.
You're
Uh,
welcome.
you know, sad things are happening around. As I mentioned, I have two cats that I have adopted, and unfortunately nowadays sad things are happening to the
Hmm.
stray dogs and stray cats. And
Exactly.
I know a lot of us do, but I'm really emotionally affected by this because as a person, I always want to give back to community, and I think animals are a very important part of the community. And I'm totally being honest with you. Sometimes when I talk with my friends and stuff, I always tell this. If I found such money, I would definitely build like luxurious shelters for stray dogs and for stray cats. Of course, I would put aside some money for traveling as well because I love traveling. So, but the majority of the money, most probably, I would use it to help stray animals. I really care
I
about
see.
them.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Hocam. And I wish you could have that money in the future as soon
Hope
as
so.
possible. Okay, thank you. All right, Tuğba Hocam, thank you very much.
You're
And
welcome.
that I just say that the time
Mhm.
flies. And Tuğba Hocam, I'm gonna ask you my last question. Are you ready
Okay,
for it?
I'm ready.
And the most difficult one. This is the most difficult one, Hocam. What is your motto?
This is not a hard question for me, Volkan Hocam, because my favorite book is of all times is Alice in Wonderland, and there are
Ah,
many
nice.
quotes that I like in the book. But my favorite is I can't go back to yesterday because I was a different person then. So I love this saying of Alice, and this is how I feel about myself, and this is how I feel as a person who is in education. I mean, we cannot go back to yesterday because we were different teachers then. And education, the way we educated our
Wow.
kids was different. So we are different teachers now. We are in different times. So I think we should embrace who we are now, and we should try to become the best versions of ourselves as teachers and as individuals. This is my motto.
Wonderful. Can we have it again?
Of course, I can't go back to yesterday because I was a different person then.
Wow, thank you very much, Hocam. That's really great motto to keep in our minds.
Yes,
Really, thank you.
you're welcome.
And I have asked all my questions to Tuğba Hocam, and that's really wonderful. And before, ending our live sessions, would
Mhm.
you like to add anything else?
Volkan Hocam, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity as well. I really didn't think that time would really fly, but with you, I think it is the case. So thank you very much.
You're
This it was a pleasure for me, but the negative thing could be I would want to do this again with you because I really enjoyed it. Thank you
Of
very
course,
much.
whenever you want to jump, just let me know. I'm ready to do it again.
It was a
Oh, it's
pleasure.
wonderful. Thank you very much,
And
Hocam.
Volkan Hocam, one last thing I would
Sure,
like to share.
of course. Take your
As
time, Hocam.
and I think the thing that you're doing here and the thing that you have been doing for a while really deserves credit. You are not only a great teacher in the classroom, but
Ah,
also I
thank
think
you.
it's really nice that you're not keeping this information to yourself and you're doing your best, to share it with everyone. And I think it really matters. So I really would like to congratulate you on what you have been doing with this platform so far.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Hocam. And I just want to say also thank you very much to you because we have learned a lot from you. We have been working together for a long time, and you guide us about a lot of things. And I want to say also thank you very much. You are doing a really precious and very really hard job to do. Not everybody can do it, but you
It's a
do
pleasure.
really
I enjoy
perfectly.
every moment of it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, hocam. And I would like to say one more time, thank you very much, hocam, for your for your suggestions, for your ideas, and for your advice for us, and especially, you know, time, hocam. You spend your time here. That's really important.
Thank you very
Thank you very
much.
much.
Thank you very
And Tuğba Gençer Varol was with us tonight with Teacher Talks under 78, and we had a very fruitful session with her, and we talk about a lot of topics. And we are going to be here at the same time on the same day, as you know that every Monday at 9 p.m. And until the next time, wherever you are, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And until the next time, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself, Tuğba hocam, and bye
much. Thank
bye
you.
and
Goodbye.
peace.
Bye.
Bye.